Hi, I'm Dan Hernandez. I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of Sport Fishing. Well, this week's part 2 of our one-day rock fishing adventure of Emeryville Sport Fishing aboard the new Salmon Queen, fishing with Skipper Shim. And it's got us on this spot where just so many fish that we've been able to get you 2 exciting episodes on this one trip. And what we're doing right now, we've gone out past the Farallones. We're way out here and fishing not all that deep of water, but deep water, and we're getting some nice fish. So in this week's episode, we're going to be showing you a lot more rock fishing, quality size rockfish out of Emeryville, fishing out of the San Francisco Bay Area. So stay tuned for this week's exciting episode of Sport Fishing. Welcome to Sport Fishing with Dan Hernandez. This week's episode of Sport Fishing is brought to you by Bradley Smokers, when you only want the very best. Magic Metal Jigs and Bucktail Jigs. By Game Saver. Preserve your fish, use a Game Saver. And by Dan Hernandez Dipping Sauces and Fish Batter. Rose is on. We probably got about 5 or 6 people hooked up right now. I just got bit. See 3 up forward on the bows hooked up. Yep. See what that is. Big salmon grouper looks like. Yeah, that's a big salmon grouper.
Oh, Jerry.
Oh!
Yep. Pistacho.
Here we go. Another nice Johnny bass. Nice Johnny bass, magic metal jig, glow in the dark with the blue stripe. Got that fish down there. And you can catch them with live bait, artificial, just great rockfish. This is big quality Johnny bass right here. Rose got one. Oh, here comes hers right here. Oh, big salmon grouper. There you go. Leave them right there. That's a quality fish.
There you go. Scary looking. Wow. Whoa. Whoa. On. Look at that double header. Good one too, guys.
With little dead anchovy. First one bit. A little bit. React in seconds. And we're just gonna do it all hand over hand. Do it again.
Well, I just want to show you how easy it is to catch rockfish. You know, it doesn't matter where you're fishing, in the Pacific, especially what we're talking about right now, fishing for rockfish. It's pretty simple. You got to find the fish, find the structure they're in. Right now we're fishing a big pinnacle. It should be loaded with rockfish, and I'm just fishing really simple. This is a magic metal jig, 10 ounce, because we're fishing over 100 feet. And then I have a B52 bucktail with a gulp shrimp on there. It's just very basic fishing. Just gonna go ahead and toss this out. fishing about 200 feet of water, about 175 feet of water, and let it go all the way down. Then once it gets to the bottom, I'm just going to work that jig right along the rocks, see if I can get something nice on the bottom, and then work it up a little bit where the rockfish will be stacked up off the bottom. On the very bottom, if you're lucky, you get a lingcod, and then up off the bottom could be anything. Could be the Johnny bass, could be the red snapper, a big mix of fish. They all kind of live together here. So let's let this go all the way down. That's a fish. So I'm just going to go ahead and wind up. When you're fishing deep like this, you don't have to pump it. You just keep winding it up. I got something nice on here now. I don't know if it's on the jig or if I hooked a little fish and I got a hitchhiker on there. And when we talk about hitchhiker, it means a lingcod holding onto a rockfish that actually isn't hooked. So let's see what we got here. Just keep winding this up. You notice I'm not pumping it or anything. Have the rod under my arm, just winding straight up. All you want to do is keep that pressure, and you don't want to wind too fast because you don't want to spin it off. What is it? Wow, I got double. A red lingcod in the back. Legal lingcod, legal lingcod. All right. Oh, yes! This is how you do it. Look at this one. Monster ling, big lingcod.
Big vermilion.
Big red snapper. That is gorgeous. Thanks, Shim. That's beautiful fish there. There's Shim, there's our skipper. Another nice red coming up right there. Big, beautiful fish. There's Kevin's red snapper, nice fish. Just quality fish. You can see the jig, I got it there. Magic metal, 10 ounce. Fishing on the bottom. Got a B52 bucktail with that grub above it. And that's a gulp bait on there. Just two monster fish. This is awesome fishing right here. One drop. We'll take a little break from the action here and go to the tackle box and give you a good look at the tackle we're using to catch quality fish like this. We'll be right back. This week, the tackle box is brought to you by Cabela's, America's foremost outfit. We're fishing for rockfish, and that could be rock cod down very deep water or shallow water rockfish. Now we're starting off right now fishing the deeper water rock cod. I want to show you a rig that I'm using. Now there's lots of different ganyons you can use. Just remember, if you're going to try to fish for these type of fish in California, there's all kinds of different regulations. You need to check them. And one of them is, in California, you can only fish with 2 hooks at a time. So if you see us using 4 hooks, it's because we are in Mexican waters. Now one of the rigs I like to use is type my own ganyon. Now you would put 3 or 4 of these on there, however you want. Right now I just have 2, show you what would be legal in California. Now at the end of this, I have a little swivel. And the reason I have the swivel here is what we want to do is tie on what we call a breakaway rig. Now the main line is Cajun Red 80-pound test line. You can use 60-pound if you want. And this is where the Cajun Red really works great, because down this deep, actually down below 5-10 feet, it starts to become invisible. And down at 100 feet, 200 feet, where we're fishing some of these spots today, over 300 feet of water, the fish can't see the line at all. So what I like to do is go from the swivel, take another piece of Cajun Red line, and if I'm using 80-pound for the main line, my breakaway should be like 20-pound test line, and that's what this is here. You can just take a small piece of line, cut it off, and all you're going to do is just tie it right onto your sinker. Now depending on the depth that you're fishing, you're going to use anywhere from a 1-pound sinker maybe up to a 3 or 4-pound sinker. In the old days when we used to fish Cherry Banks and the big reefs and the deep areas for cow cod, we used to use sinkers as heavy as 5 pounds. But these days with all the restrictions, you can't fish that deep, you know, in California waters. In Mexico you can. So we tie it on one end, and then on the other end I'm just going to tie this right onto the swivel. So on the other end I just go ahead and tie another knot. Just any sort of knot that you want to tie is fine. And then like always, you just cut off the little tag end. And this is the way it would look. You would have your gannion floating up above, your sinker would be down on the bottom, and if you were unlucky, because lots of spots we fish are really rocky areas, if your sinker should get stuck in one of those rocks or a piece of coral, what will happen is this piece of line will break off, and then all your fish will just float up to the surface. That way you don't lose everything. You know, it's easy to just tie on another sinker, but what you don't want to lose is your gannion, and most importantly, you don't want to lose your fish. Well, let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action here on Sport Fishing. Oh! There he is, double. Okay, stop right there, stop right there, stop. All right, Rose. How you like this kind of fishing? You look tired.
Double hammer? I don't think so. That's a nice reel. There he goes.
Feel it?
Yeah, I got color. Another keeper. Okay.
Alright, Lincoln. You guys are gonna cross up.
Let's see what we got here. There's color. Ooh, it looks like a nice red. Nice red snapper. Beautiful red snapper right there. Thanks, Tony. Got a Johnny Bass on the Magic Metal. And a nice red snapper. That's a quality fish, delicious fish.
Top notch.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better. And that's on a B52 bucktail with a gulp bait on there. Just very simple, just showing you how to do it. To show you one easy drop, we catch 2 quality fish. Just being patient down there, let the fish load up on there. All right, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Reeling in for the 20th time.
Just got bit again. Here comes my fish. I got a double. What do I got? One good, one bad. Here's a Johnny Bass here. We can keep this guy. Throw this guy in my sack. Well, we have a bunch of fish going right here. Got all kinds of action, just wide open. Doesn't get any better than this. Some big quality reds, huge salmon grouper, and some really nice lingcod. We're going to take a little break from the action right now aboard the new Salmon Queen, and we're going to go to the galley and show you how to cook up these delicious rockfish. This week, the galley is brought to you by Dan Hernandez Dipping Sauces and Fish Batters. Look for them in your local supermarkets. This week in the galley, I want to show you a different dish. Now, normally when you think of ceviche, you're thinking of fish like tuna or some of the Baja fish. What we're gonna do today is show you how to do red snapper and make a ceviche dish out of it. So we would start off with our fillet here of a red snapper we recently caught. We're just gonna cut it up in little strips. And once all the ingredients are added to this, it'll really break down the fish and make it really nice and small and easy to eat. And we take our red snapper, throw it in a little bowl. This is the base of the dish. I like to take a little lime, lemon, some lemon juice. And this is what's really gonna cook the fish for us. Got some lime, I'll put a little bit in it now, a little bit of lime juice. Mix that up really good. And you can see how this is already cooking up, how it's changing color. That's like a raw piece there. And you can see how white it's turning, like that. That's just the lime and lemon juice cooking the fish. And it actually is cooking. I know cooking sounds like a weird term when you're thinking there's no flame involved, but it is actually cooking the fish. Now we'll go ahead and add some of the other ingredients. I like to add some radishes, and these are a little big, so I'll just cut these up a little bit. Add some color to it too. And these are serrano chilies that I cut up earlier. Still like to have a little size to them, and I like to leave the seeds in them. It adds a little bit more flavor, bite to it. Toss that in there. We have some red onions. And then add a little bit more lime juice. And of course, you can never have too much lemon, especially when you're talking about ceviche. And you just mix this up. Okay, now this is all done. What we would normally do at this point is we just put it in the refrigerator. You can leave it for like 15 minutes, it'll cook pretty good. What I like to do is leave it in for about a half hour to an hour. Let it chill really good, let it cook. And if you left it overnight, it wouldn't hurt anything. The only thing you wanna do is before you serve it, you wanna drain it really well. And the way you would serve it, you could put it in another little bowl, but for here, I'll just put it in a little plate. And this is how it would look. It would just be like this. And you have the chilies and the onions all mixed in there. You can garnish it with a little bit of cilantro, some avocados, and that's how it would look. And all you would want to do then is have some chips available, let your guests just pick away at it. And remember, this is red snapper. I know you're normally thinking ceviche. Why would you do red snapper? It's just, red snapper is one of those really versatile fish like halibut. Do lots of things with it. And ceviche is just another dish you can make with it. Fun, easy recipe to do. If you want more recipes, look at my website. We have lots of stuff there. Well, let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action here on Sport Fishing. Well, fishing here has been phenomenal today for the big rockfish. So now I'm going to downsize. I'm really close to my limit. I only need like 1 or 2 more fish. So we're only in about 150 feet of water right now. So I got a 6-ounce B52 bucktail with a little gulp shrimp on there, 20-pound test gear. This is the same gear I use for calico bass fishing in Southern California. So I'm just going to flip this out and let it go all the way down. And out here there's so many rockfish, I might get stopped on the way down. So just gonna let it go down, just try to pay attention to my line, feel the jig all the time. And then if I get slammed, I'll just throw the gear and reel. If I get slammed, I'll just put the reel in gear and then wind up. But the goal right now is to reach the bottom and just kind of swim it along the bottom a little bit. See if there's a lingcod or a big rockfish, maybe a big salmon grouper, and then from there, work the jig up. Usually the schoolie fish are gonna be suspended off the bottom anywhere from 30 to 50 feet. So we'll see what happens. I got something hit my line. I'm not quite sure what it is. Oh, here comes some fish right here. It's a double. I don't know if I got bit on the jig or the bucktail. I'm just wind it straight up now. Just keep the pressure, wind it straight up. Here he comes. It's on the jig. What is it? No, not a big fish. Little Johnny bass. These things are delicious. But we've gotten some really big ones of these on this trip so far today. Quality fish. Well, we only have a few more minutes left to go here, so I'm going to drop down. And drop back down, and we'll take a little break from the action, see if I can finish off my limit. When we return, we'll be giving you this week's tip of the week. This week's tip of the week is brought to you by Magic Metal Jigs and Bucktail Jigs.
We're out here fishing basically the Farallon Island chain. We're fishing mostly big yellowtail. We're catching a lot of salmon grouper or boccaccios along with the vermilion. And we're using mostly shrimp flies, the 2-hook shrimp flies, as well as live bait. The iron's been working real well because we've got a nice flat calm day. Earlier today when we were fishing the lingcod, we basically used a 3-way live bait leader with sardines, and that worked the best. Although Dan did real well on his jig, so they seem to be biting everything out there.
Well, we had a great time fishing today aboard the new Salmon Queen with Shem and the whole crew, Tony. We had a lot of fish today. We're fishing offshore a little bit deeper water, just different areas from about 150 feet depth to a little bit shallower. All kinds of quality fish today. Just great fish. You guys had a good time today? Yeah! Well, I'm Dan Hernandez, hoping you enjoyed this week's episode of Sport Fishing, and I hope you join us again next week as we go looking for more of the best in sport fishing. Thanks, guys. Yeah!